All right. Next question is from John on Instagram. I have followed your YouTube page and gotten lots of great info from you. Thank you for all you do and share. You are welcome. I have brewed many ales, but I am having a hell of a time with my first lager, 7-barrel batch. I'm happy with the flavor. I think I personally hate lagers. Ooh, hot take. But cannot get it to clear up all the way. I have hit it with Biofine twice and read that a third time is not advised. I've been chilling at it's been chilling at 34 F for 5 weeks. So very close to zero for all of our C11 people out there. My diacetyl rest was not great, but that shouldn't affect clarity, right? I don't have a way to filter. I use 3470. You are not obligated to respond, but if you do, I would be immensely happy to hear any of your thoughts. I gave him a question and he said, I do not do any water adjustments. I use spring water from a great water source nearby. I should buy the strips, at least I'm sure, just never have. My ales and Kolsch have always clarified very nicely in that 2 to 3 days post, cold on Biofine. The only thing different in terms of mash was I added 10 pounds of biscuit malt, hoping for a little flavor infusion. Maybe that caused the haze. I don't think so. I would also mention I use Clarex on all batches for the gluten reduction, and it should also theoretically help that beer clear. So yeah, we busted into this. So getting a beer that should be clear, that is not clear. It's just a simple kind of base malt beer. There's no haze throwing components in there, oats, yeast, or oats, wheat, anything like that. So what's going on? One of the primary questions I had for him was, when you do a pale in color ale, does that get clear? And he said, yes. Okay, so that's cool. So that means it lets me know that the processes that he's using typically work. Okay. And also in my experience, 3470 has dropped pretty well. It can stay up in solution a little bit. But yeah, you do want to be able to get that beer clear. There are tons of things that go into beer clarity, and I'm not going to touch on all of them. One, because I'm probably not going to be able to recall them all off the top of my head, even if I have them all in my head. But there's a lot of factors. You obviously want, you want your pH numbers to be in a good range throughout your process. Appropriate pH numbers during the mash, during the boil, post-boil, all that stuff. You want to have an appropriate level of calcium. So that's what I pushed him toward. I found that for me, my lagers were dropping to the clarity that I wanted when I was starting to get close to 100 parts per million with calcium, to maybe dial that up. I did recommend that he actually sends that beautiful well water off to Ward Labs or somebody like that can give you a detailed, not generalized report like you would get from your local municipality. Because you want those hard numbers. You want to be able to plug it into, I guess Beersmith has one in there. Brewing water. I use brewing water. But I'm sure Beersmith is great too. That's kind of my take on it. That's my hunch. I mean, the processes you've been using have been creating clear beer. But for some reason, and I don't know if it's a lager thing or a strain dependent thing or not. In particular, I found that my lagers started to get brighter when I pushed that calcium number up. So maybe dig in on that side and find out what the deal is. Hope that helps you out. I appreciate the question and all your kind words.